Hey guys, welcome. Cyndi Williams here from careersonvacation.com. I have the amazing Jennifer from Gypsy Gourmet Adventures. How are you, Jen?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
I am so good. I'm so excited to talk about, usually I talk about all travel on these calls, but we get to talk about food, which is, who doesn't love culinary and food and your unique brand and story, which I think is so amazing. So you're a recent graduate of Careers on Vacation. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So
it was a
fun. Tell
great
us a little.
experience.
Oh, I'm so glad. Tell us a little bit about where your business was before taking Careers on Vacation and we're going to talk about your cool brand, but tell us where you are now and just the whole evolution.
Yeah, so I was a caterer before this, and so I had no travel agency and didn't really have that little gleam in my eye other than I love to travel. So after being a caterer for close to 20 years, towards the end, I really was working more just to pay for travel. And it was not, it was still in my heart, but I was ready for a change and wasn't sure what that change was going to be. And travel kind of fell in my lap. And through you, now I have a travel agency. So yeah, it was nowhere.
I love it so much. And I love that you kind of incorporated your two passions, right? And catering is like a hard business. It's a lot of being out there in the world and hitting the streets and lugging stuff. I have a friend who worked for a caterer part-time, and she's like, we love being there at the events, but it's getting all the things and the prep and it's a very maintenance heavy. So I can see how you would want to evolve it. And if you love travel already, what a cool
Yes.
thing. So you really what I love about your brand is you combined this love of food with travel to create these really cool, unique experiences. It's like a whole new niche that is so hot right now. But the fact that you have this 20 years of experience to position and then tie it in with travel, I think is amazing. So didn't have a business, wasn't in the industry,
Right.
and now 12 weeks later, you have a brand new travel agency. That's so exciting.
It
What do you
is.
think has been your biggest win or celebration since taking the program?
The marketing piece is a huge win. With my previous business, even though I was in it for so long, I didn't market. Everything was just word of mouth. It's easy. People go to a party, they like it, they call you. So there was no presence at all. So that starting from scratch and learning everything that you put in this really straightforward manner makes it so easy to go from knowing absolutely nothing. Plus, I'm not a millennial, so it just doesn't, come like that. It was a whole new world. I couldn't even believe all that was out there, and it works. Just from you, I just checked yesterday. I'm number 2 in Google search in my zip code. So that was really exciting.
Amazing and so fast. It can take people years to get to that first page of Google because they just don't know what they're doing. Of course, we're teaching you all the secret optimizing and tricks behind the scenes. So that is so exciting, especially to do it before you even graduated, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was really exciting. And and so it's become less of a challenge now. MailChimp and I had a few words together, but but we're good now. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but what was awesome is you could ask questions at any given time and in the Facebook group, and someone will answer and not make you feel stupid. So that was really, really helpful.
Yeah, there's so many steps. I think new agents don't realize. They're like, oh, I'm just going to turn on this access or turn on a website somewhere and the calls are just going to kind of, float in. The difficulty is that's not how, with an online business, right? You're coming from more of an in-person business to online. It's not just about being a great travel agent. It's about, can you get the leads to contact you?
Right.
Are they you or are you chasing them? And that infrastructure is not easy to set up. People underestimate. They think what they really are doing is they think I'm going to throw up pages, which is really just the architecture part. It's not the optimizing or getting it into a marketing machine. So it feels really different when, you have that support team to go, oh, no, pull this lever, change this, adjust this. Because you're right. Like you said, you had words with one of the third parties That's so common when you're figuring stuff out and setting it up. And I'm assuming you said you went to the group and we'd have our whole team in there to go, oh, I had that before. Here's what you do.
It's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, you can move through it a little faster for sure.
Yeah.
Talk to me. You know, we do a lot of mindset work in our program, and really that's to give you the tools to be the most successful you can as a new CEO of this new business and get you thinking in that wealth consciousness mindset and as a CEO and kind of strip away some of those old. Did the mindset work help you? And if it did, how did it help in your business or personal life?
It did. I didn't think I needed it, honestly. I was one of those because I have owned a business. And so I wasn't scared of the risk factor or, all of a sudden I'm out there. So I thought, that's fine. It's fine. But going up against those hurdles that I've never come up against, and the frustration sometimes, finding that place that, first of all, it's okay. You can't mess this up. Brandon said on one call, he's like, it's like, you can't screw this up. It's okay. If you don't like it, take it down. It doesn't have to be perfect. Good enough is good enough is what you say sometimes. So getting through that and being patient with myself and giving myself permission to walk away from it sometimes and then come back was very helpful. And everyone that you've surrounded yourself with, especially Brandon and the mindset piece, I mean, you can't be in a bad mood with that guy. So, he is such an uplifting person. Everybody is in your program. And so the mindset definitely came into play probably after about a month. I was like, whoa, okay, I'm going back to the beginning here. And I'm going to do all that stuff that Cyndi said to do that I thought I knew. So yes, it was very helpful, and in my personal life, because this, the past few months have been a little challenging, and it's like, I was like, I am a vessel of joy, that is what I am. And every day is going to be just start from a joyful, grateful place.
Absolutely. I love that so much. Yeah, it's always, and that's common, right? Especially if you've been a business owner, you're like, I have the tools, let me skip over this piece. And then you're like, oh, wow. And you get halfway in, and you're like, oh, this is feeling overwhelming. Or you have, even if any travel agent out there, especially because there's so many of us working from home, right? It's like you're in a silo. It's your responsibility to keep yourself in that right energy. It's your responsibility. And I think you're right. Like the last 3 months, and we're filming this like amidst COVID, right? So it's great you've had all these in the middle of this, but it's particularly challenging right now because people are out of their routines and cycles feel weird, and I don't have to get out of my yoga pants for 5 days at a time, right? Like I don't even have to leave the house. So, but how do you shake that off, right? Oh, let me get off the couch and stop watching Netflix and get into business mode and take advantage of this time, which you obviously have done. So it's having that toolbox, I feel like, is really key, especially good times, but particularly going through a weird time like the last few months.
Yes, so exactly. I came from, being in a kitchen all day and being with people, and I got to leave the house, for hours at a time. And suddenly it's like, oh, wow, I'm home. I mean, everybody's home, but but that was a big, big shift. And one I didn't see coming when we first started, this process.
Yeah, so, creating that new routine, because you're carving out a whole new business for yourself. Yeah. And it feels liberating though, doesn't it?
It does. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, it's
hang out in the kitchen all day. I don't have to be on my feet all day, probably, for sure too. Like I get to, what I love, I still get to incorporate food, but now I get to add travel in. So I love your concept. I think it's amazing. So, but walk me back to when you first found us and you were in that consideration phase and you were kind of on the fence. What was that process like for you personally to decide if you were going to move forward?
There was two things. I was trying to sell my business and sold it right before the US just shut down. So I'm incredibly grateful for that. And in the back of my mind, I was just, if this goes through, if this guy actually buys my business, then, the stars are aligned. The universe is saying, go do this. This is what you're meant to do. And finding you guys, I I found you pretty quickly. And then I scheduled a call with Christine, and she was wonderful. I think I had 3 calls with Christine before we actually decided to, give you my credit card. But I remember thinking that this woman's got to be legitimate, because who would spend this much time, you know, coming up with all this information and it's not real.
Exactly.
So, and looking at other programs out there, it was kind of the investment, the monetary investment was very similar between some different programs. And I kept looking for more Cindys out there. There are no more Cindys. You can look, but they're not. There's just one.
I've been working on this for 25 years. It's tough to replicate that, right?
So yeah, it was a little bit, but I think I knew all along I would come back to what I found first, because you are incredibly approachable and very honest, and it was the right fit, but I had to go down every single rabbit hole and make sure.
Yeah. And I think that's good, right? Like, you should vet. If you're watching this video right now and you're like, maybe it's the first video you're watching, like, who is this lady? Who are these people? I want to have a travel business, but like, what's going on? You guys should vet whoever you're going to potentially work with. I always say, like, the biggest thing is, do they have their own agency that they're spending their own money to test the things that they are training? 99.9% of the time, I don't know any other program actually, because we know who our competition is. I don't know any other program that actually spends their own money to test. There's lots of people out there that will say, yes, this is what's working, or that's what's working. But they'll say, but put this budget together and you have to test it and where we can say, nope, we've done this. This is what works. This is what doesn't work. And that's why we have the results we do, right? Like, what a concept. Test what you're going to train people before you, especially before you charge them for it, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So no, I love that. And, I think that that's good. We have people that go, no, I saw you right away. I knew it was the right thing. And then we have other people that go, it took 3 calls. It took some time. It doesn't matter which journey. But what I do love about your story is when you started to do that first step of, I think I'm going to sell my business. Should I sell my business? I think I'm going to sell my business. You made that big act, because 20 years, that's a lot to like break free from. I know, because we've sold businesses
right.
too. And it's like, oh, do I let it go? Do I keep it? And you're like, do I stay in this thing that I'm not super passionate about anymore? I want to make this change. That's a big decision for you to make. But look how the universe like showed up for you, and like that happened. And then you're like, oh, and then I found you right away. I always say, like, when the student is ready, the teacher arrives, kind of thing. And then it's just like, you told the universe, like, I'm done with this business and I'm moving forward with something new. And then look what started popping up in your world, and it just kind of naturally happens. So it's easy to be through the program now and go, yeah, it was great, blah, 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 blah. What would you say to that person who's, on the fence about it? They're kind of in that place where you're like, oh, do I do it? Who is this lady? I see she's got all these videos online. We do not pay for case studies, you guys, just so you know. These are people like Jennifer came to me and said, I'd love to share my story. I had a great experience in your program. What would you say to that person who's kind of on the fence? Like, they know they want to have a travel business, but they're not sure. They're in that uncertain place. What would you say to that person?
I would say that you need to do it. Definitely. There's the benefits that you get from it. You can't get, and you would take you years to figure all this stuff out. Trying to do it on your own. The support is amazing. From, of course, we talked about Brandon and doing mindset, but the social media help, it's just, you're surrounded by such amazing people. That, I mean, if you went out and tried to, hire each one of those folks individually, I mean, you'd be spending thousands and thousands of dollars. And to just, 12 weeks has seemed like a long time, and it seemed like a short time, at various times during the program. But it's really short to learn so very much. And I would say that right now is the best time, while things are still kind of slowly getting back to normal, when everybody does have a little bit more time, because it is work, but you get out of it so much more than what you're putting in. It's just amazing.
I love that. Yes, I do have the best team in the industry.
You do.
Everybody, the coaches on my team actually has their own travel business. So again, they're doing the thing for training, and all of them have been through my program. A lot of the people that work for me went through my program to grow their own businesses, and they came to me and went, Cyndi, I would love to, work for you someday. And so we assembled like our dream team of coaches and mentors and support. And yes, my team of experts, we don't just hire any experts. We go out and find the best of the best. Our social media person was like social media person of the year. You would have to pay, oh my gosh, thousands a month just to work with that one person, not including your ad budget. So yeah, you guys get access to the same team that got my business, that exploded my business, right? So it's a really unique thing, right? Like it's kind of like sourcing all of the answers without having to pay 10 different people.
And being able to go back, because now that we've gone through it, those modules are mine forever. I've gone back to them, time and time again, because the marketing does take a lot of time. And so I've, gone back, I've watched, the media or the, setting up Facebook ads again, just like, so what did she say again? And to be able to just go to that at, 11 o'clock at night and figure out, what I'm doing on my schedule is just, it's great to have that going forward. And then of course the grad group, which is
the grad group's amazing. Yeah. That membership site's a big deal. We don't talk about it a lot, but it is forever access. And I think, like you said, Facebook ads, that's like, watch this video step by step, watch this step by step, watch it. It's very intricate. In fact, this year we had to change the whole thing because Facebook changed their process. So even if they change it again next year and the year after, you don't have to go find another coach or another expert or pay me again. You just log in and get the updated information. So people that went through our program 3 or 4 years ago, they didn't have to pay for it again. They just log in and we're like, oh, this is all new. Make sure you go get all the new stuff. So it's kind of like an evergreen type curriculum that's never going to go out of style. And our social media best practices guide that we put together on the top things you need to be doing across all of the platforms, we update that every year for our graduates and anyone who has access to the membership. So I'm going off on a tangent, but all this to say, guys, if you are out there like Jen was and you're thinking about starting or you really want to grow your business, we have 2 tracks with Careers on Vacation. The first one is a new agent track. That's what Jen was on. She's like, I've never been in the industry. Teach me how to launch my own home-based, portable, profitable agency, which is what we did. If you're an experienced agent and you're great at selling, but you just haven't been able to connect the dots on how do I create a marketing machine where I'm getting leads on demand every day in my business, then you would go on our experience track so we can help you put all the infrastructure in place and do all of the things that you want to do to grow and supersize your business too. So guys, go to careersonvacation.com/ready now, and you can do an application process, which is basically just meeting. It's a discovery call to meet with one of our success coaches to just learn about your goals. If it is a match to work together, we'll invite you into the program. If not, we'll still give you some great tips and resources and wish you well on your journey. Jen, was the discovery process like weird or salesy at all?
No, not at all. It was like talking to a friend.
Yeah. Because that really is, I just want to know your goals and see if it makes sense for us to work together. If we can help you.
So comfortable.
Yeah, if we can help you and you have a vision that matches with what we know we can supersize, then yes, we'll work together. And if not, like I said, we'll give you some tips and send you on your way and wish you all of the abundance in the world. But Jen, thank you for sharing your story. I can't wait to see, I know you're putting together some super cool, like, culinary experiences right now. I'm so excited to just watch everything that's unfolding for your company. I want to tell you congratulations again on your new business and your new agency. And you're not going far. We'll see you over in the grad group. So you're in the cool kid club now over with all of our cool grads. So I wish you so much success in the future. Okay, lady, we'll talk soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, Cyndi Williams here. If you like that last video, make sure you check out my other content to help you grow and scale your very own travel business. And also, I invite you to travel around the world with me and find out what I'm doing in my portable, profitable, award-winning travel business. Check out the videos.